I'm gonna try to record this at 4K to see if it processes any faster. When I make these like tutorials that are not like action-packed movie video kind of car crash videos, probably can get away with 30 frames a second. I just know it takes it takes a long time to process 4K 60. Here, I don't know what's going on with it. Someone out slides yesterday, and I almost forgot. I started making slides, like adding a. Hold on a sec. What's this thing? Remember, I could tell this thing. Every time you load, have this on. I'm not sure how that. Like if I save the file, like save as, I just save it on the desktop. Just call it whatever. Now if I load, or if I say new, it closes that. But if I open the old one, oh, it does. Oh, I'll be damned. I learned something new. Taught myself something. All right, so basically, add a path. Now in object mode, you can't do nothing with that. But in edit mode, you get these little balls you can adjust. So what you do is you go to a perfect side. Oh yeah. Also, you probably want to import in something, unless you're using a ruler, which I'm not. I like to see things how they look, like looking at them. So I'll import in something like this, so I know the size of the scale that I'm working with. It's just one of the cars, shell from the game. And so yeah, so this is where our first line. But you can tell it in object mode and all that stuff, but to manipulate it, you got to edit mode. So we're going to move both of these up. Get a kind of an idea. Oops, can't do that like that. Got to move them like that, I guess. I don't know how big the slide. Just like that. Edit mode. Maybe this will be a slide that's got obstacles on it. Like you get slide a little and crawl a little. I don't know. But be in a perfect side view, that way when you manipulate these, they're only going to move up, down, left, right. They're not going to go, back into the background unless that's what you want to do. Now the advantage of using a path is it'll give you the most vertices that you should need for the smoothest ride, but it's a lot of polygons. So ball hitting E, you'll see you can make a black line. That's the actual slide. These balls are just the manipulators. Like you can manipulate them, Maybe you could have so they don't roll off the backside. And you just hit E and E and whatever you're going to make. That's the good thing about these. You can do stuff like this with these kind of slides. I hit the wrong thing, folks. Instead of hitting G, I hit E. I was just going to move it, not make another section. I just not really got any ideas really for this. Nothing's really coming to mind. Why it does that sometimes. See that? There's two damn. See what I'm saying? I don't know why this does this. I think with all these keys I'm pressing, I hit one thing. Because if you hit E, if you just hit E and then hit E, that didn't do it. Hell, I don't know what makes it do that sometimes. I actually don't. I figured it, but apparently not. Yeah, and you can also rotate things, you know. Now the next thing we'll do, well, we're done with the car. Well, no, we're not. We got one more thing to do with it. We'll go back to object mode, and we'll right click on this, and we'll say convert to mesh. And if you go back to edit mode, you'll see all the vertices that basically make this path. And you know, if it needs to be smooth, you got more of them, and where it needs to not so smooth, you know, a few. But you probably could. You really don't need that section, but like I said, it's gonna make a big ass polygon mesh here. Hit E or hit A, select all, and then you can use this extrude region here. Now, when I extrude and I want to go a specific direction, I'll use X, Y, Z, and I'll tell this to look like this. So you got your basic little slide like that. Now, if you want it to have like little, you know, like a letter U shape or something, then what you do is add loop cuts. Now, add a loop cut, just like the one loop cut, for example. I think, yeah, you can move the loop cut, make it like that by just hitting G and Y if you're going to move you know, right. You know, X would be forward and back. Would want to do that though. You mess it up. So I put that one there. I'm not sure, can you duplicate it? Yeah, you can duplicate, but that didn't give me the result I thought it was going to give me. So we'll just another loop cut here and hit G and then Y to go over. I don't know, maybe. We really need one there. What the hell? There's already going to be a lot of polygons. Alright, now I'm going to turn this X mode and I'll go to a perfect view, or it's looking straight on, you know, from the front. And then I'll undo this loop cut because we don't want to keep making loop cuts. So we'll select all these, turn on proportional editing. When you hit G to move it up or down, or you can use whatever, you see a circle. If you hit page up, page down, wait a minute, I don't usually press those. Well, hit G to up or down, you see that circle there. I'll hit Z so it only moves up the Z axis. If you hit page up and down, you see the circle changes. The larger the circle, the more what you're moving influences what's next to it. So I was just going to put a little reset in it like that. And the ones on the side, I'll pick them like this. Move them up a bit with less of influence, so it's more like a little wall like that. I can move them up higher. Well, maybe scale them in closer, like so. It's, you know, and then move these up. If I hit F, it should seal it. I wouldn't see why anybody in their right mind would want something like that. I'm just showing you what you can do with it. You can do some pretty weird things here. And you can see, like, the more loop cuts, the more, you know, um, the more cuts you get, the more things can bend. I'm just going to hit Control Z. I done mess that all up. Alright, here's something else you can do. We go to object mode. Turn this tray off for now. We get this smooth by just going to shade smooth. And we can add a modifier to this. We're going to add a simple deform. Then you get twist, bend, taper, stretch. But I'm only going to mess with the twist. Kind of show you, kind of twist it and things, whatever. Yeah. We would want to do the y-axis. Just for this probably X, Z, probably not even Z, probably just X. And then you got bend, depending on where you bend. Y is bend like this, where is X gonna bend it like that. I think Z would mess it up. No, that's going to make it bend like that. So you can do that, you know. You don't need to do that. You could, if you wanted to go into edit mode and say, all right, let me, with my proportional editing on, let me get to a top view and say, all right, let me please, and let me just rotate these. But you see how that's doing that. You'd want to have more of influence, so you get more smooth bending or rotating, depending on, you know, want to make a little jump maybe. And maybe like, hey, yeah, that looks cool. Maybe we could jump and then duplicate this and rotate it around like this and move it over. And maybe lucky, you can jump one to the other, but if they're lined up. Man, I don't know. Maybe you could. You're not going to make it back up the hill, so you'd probably want to do something like this. And sometimes things look fine when you actually, they don't work worth a darn, you know what I mean? They don't win at all. Yeah. I think it'll tear up a car right there. Yep, that ink is gonna tear one up pretty good. We'll just adjust it. I'll go back to our edit mode and just rotate this back just a tad. Now since we duplicated, it's actually a separate object now, so we have to pick it, go to edit and modify it. Nope, I didn't have that on. If you don't have on X-ray, you're not going to select everything that's in the back of what it is that you're wanting to select. Now that might actually work. You may overshoot it and go. You don't want to stretch things too much, it's going to look terrible. I'll just leave this thing like this. Alright, so I personally don't like using in-game Call it, I don't like using the in-game collision mesh. So what I'll do is let me go ahead and not duplicate, I mean combine these two in option and get the X-ray off now. Oh yeah, let's give it a texture. Why not? Just call this new slide. I'll just not put anything in it. It's just be new slide. I'll call this new slide. I realize this is not a great slide. I don't have any creativity when it comes to making slides. Really, it's not something I do every day. Go to different slides, and it's not like a sport on TV where cars actually, go on these tracks that are slides. So I don't play with Hot Wheels. Maybe when I was a kid, but I don't. All my tracks suck that I made with Hot Wheels. I never could car on them little plastic things. Alright, so we'll duplicate. Oh, before we even do that, check our normals to make sure we're not flipped. Yes, the right way. You don't want the red to be on the side drive on. That's what face orientation shows you up here. If it is red, then you're in trouble. Now you just pick it and go to edit mode. Hit A to select all, mesh, normal, flip, and that'll flip them. But see, we don't need to do that though. Now, if you ever really mess up, you mess when you got some red and some blue and they're all scattered there, you might as well just start over. Unless way you can tell it. You might can tell it. I know there's like a few things that say mesh, normal, calculate, outside, but what is inside? You know what, let's just find out. Shit, I guess I need this, so. I see mesh, normals, flip. Now we'll hit A to select all, normals, calculate, outside. To make them all red, I'll be damned. So I guess if you got different ones that are flipped and you don't want to spend all day selecting them all to flip them back, I guess it is supposed to select them both, or select all rather. You mesh normals, recalculate outside, or mesh normals, recalculate inside. Damn, I wish I knew that a while back. I don't know how long I spent one time trying to fix it. Damn. Oh, so maybe that'll help somebody. They won't spend all like I did. Alright, I can go back to object mode. If you want a slide that's different colors, then you're going to have to make another slide. You have to duplicate this one, for example. Move it over here. Now, I can turn this on now. We don't need to see that. Now this one, you call this maybe new slide B. And it'll make the texture new slide. Oh, wait a minute. We duplicated it, so it's going to change that one too if we just got to give it. You have to go to material for the second object. Get rid of the material and then make a new material. Okay, so this will be slide B. And we'll do this. Now that's new slide. I guess I should just make this A. This one B. And I'll just duplicate them and move them over here. Okay. This one will be C. So we don't need the text A, we'll get rid of that. We'll just say new. You see the idea of what we're doing here. Probably have tried in the game to make several copies of one slide and change the color and find that it's changing the color to all of them. That's why, because you all have the same thing assigned to them. Now I'll stop here because this may start affecting performance on some systems, so let's change this to A. I'll keep the name the same as the texture. When I can remember, to do that, I do that. And it's just bad when you forget the name like mesh and the damn name of the texture. So let's say with our textures, new slide A, B, C, D. Let's just go get this main.materials here. I'll copy it and just temporarily set this on the top. Open this folder. Well, let's name the folder New Slides. New Slides. Alright, we'll copy this into here. I'll open it up. Now we have one texture in here right now, which was ball. This is a new ball I was making. Alright, new slide A. Now this gonna go here. It's gonna go here, and it's gonna go here. There's no maps that go with it. It's not reflecting. Yeah. So basically this is all you do for texture 1. Now you can look at this and see these 2 brackets. This is the end. When you see 2 brackets, if you want 1 in here, then it's easy to know, well, this is all just one texture, because it starts with a bracket and it ends with 2 brackets. So you would just copy all this to your clipboard, hit enter, hit the end, hold shift, make that bracket, and make it comma. Tells it there's another texture. And then here, paste. And you change this to B, B, B. And I'll just copy all this to the clipboard now. Put a bracket and a comma and paste, and now I have all 4 of them. I'll go down to the bottom because I know that's E. And this is going to be C. Oh, ground type. This one I want to show you all this. There's one that's already in the game, so we're going to use mud. We'll use mud for one ground type. We'll use ice for the other one. And just remember where this is, so to change it, you can. I had a list of what all these ground types were, and I don't know where they are. I mean, I can where you can find them though. They're if you go to where the game's installed, I keep that on my desktop too for future reference. I get hunting it down, zipping it. So go to where your game's installed. If you ever want to mess with the ground models, but don't they are. Like, I don't remember all of them. I don't remember a couple. Steam library, Steam apps common BeamNG.drive, and you'll be in here GameEngine.zip. Just extract that on your desktop. And once you open it, you'll go to the art folder, and in that folder you'll see models.json. So open it, go in the art folder, and down here you'll ground models.json. I'm going to copy this onto my desktop. Oh, look at that. I already had one here. Sorry, now I can delete this folder now because it takes up too much room. So open this and you'll see a ground model in the game. Asphalt, asphalt wet, asphalt, asphalt prep. And on and on and on and on and on. it goes. Dirt, dirt, dusty, loose. I like that one. Dirt, dusty, loose. That one will be, let's see. About one ice. This one will be dirt, dusty, loose. What we got in here? Gravel, wet, grass. I like grass. I don't know why I copied that to the clipboard. I can remember that. I just have it. Well, you know, you can spell something if you copy it to your clipboard and paste it. That's it for this. We got our textures made. We'll just go back to Blender and we'll point all these together. If you want to, this is a good time to save your file in case you decide, you know what, right before doing that, I think I'd rather I did this or that, but you know what, not. That's what I usually do. I'll save it right for a big change from doing stuff. Alright. So I'll join these together and I will duplicate them. So I'll use the exact same model. COLMESH-1. Now I realize Visible Mesh Final uses the same too, but this has an advantage when you have a collision mesh like this. You can do more with it, like assign ground models to it. Add two empty plane axes. I'm not 100% sure that you can't add a ground model to a collision mesh that is done through the inspector object. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think you can, but you may. So I just do it this way. You got more options this way. So we got base 0, 0, start 0, 1, and just to recap, we went to add any plane axes. These are basically like folders. You can think of them as a folder. In fact, all this, the scene collection and collections like a folder in a folder, and if you open that folder, you got base 0, 0. And then what you'll do, you'll select this, and just like you do something on your desktop, holding shift and moving it, you'll hold shift while you do that. And you'll start into the base, you'll open this base, and then you'll take these two items and them into there like that. So this is this. If you're one that you got load management issue and you want it to be better performance, well, let me know. I'll have to address that separately because I don't want the video too long. But I can explain that too if you need that plane, because this is looking here at how many polys. Yeah, that's only 8,060. It's not bad. It's not bad. Bad really. I guess it could be bad if you need a lower quality collision mesh. Like, I guess I could just show it. If you need a lower quality collision mesh, just try to just decimate the. I would hide the original slides and only look at collision mesh here, because you got the collision mesh and then you got your slide. So with the collision mesh, you go to decimate, and you're gonna start to reduce the poly count, but you don't want too far. You know, you don't want to get it too bad. So you just get it something more acceptable for your system. That's 1,000. That 1/8 the polys. So apply it. All right. So now you got a lower poly mesh, but you're not going to notice a difference probably. But that is what makes it smooth. So you know that if you want the ultra smooth, one would have to not have done that. This will be a little more rougher. Just know. I'll just undo it because you may not want that. But you know how to do it if you do want to do it. Alright, alright. Alright, well, oh yeah. Where do you want this thing to rotate when it's in your when you're moving it around your track. What I'll usually do is something like this. I'll move these, I'll center them both. Set origin to the cursor, set origin, geometry to origin. That's what it would consider dead center of the object. And then I'll move them up. But they're not in the ground here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll export the collider to the folder on the desktop, move that folder into the level I wanted, and it'll be ready to ride. And you just change the colors of your textures in the game. You can had made those textures in material editor instead of how I did it here, but then you're going to be limited to only putting your slide in that track unless you hit the file afterwards and take out the tree locations. As long as the mesh and the texture and the main.material are in the same folder, you can pretty much go to any track. The art folder, for example, is where I stick stuff at. I'll just paste that folder, and when we load the level, you just go to the asset browser and slide your slide in the level. Everything's, well, there wasn't actually an image, but you know, if you had a text, that would also go in that folder too, if you actually texture on the slide. We're just going to put colors on it. I really wouldn't know what to put on the slide. I wouldn't know what texture to put. I'm not one of them home decorator types, you know, I'm not good at like coming stuff to go on things like that. I consider that a home thing. It's like a slide, like kids play on. I think of around the house. What, you know, I'm not one of them interior decor types. All right, which level? That level. Don't forget to rebuild collisions. Now, if you put your slide in the level and then you save level and reload the level, it automatically will rebuild your collision for you. But if you're wanting to test stuff, you need to rebuild. Which I'll show you. We'll go into here. Hit F11 whenever we get there. Well, things are missing. What's wrong? There we are. Hit F11. Then go to your asset browser and you go to that slide folder. Slide. New slides. Where is it? New slides. And is our slide. Now, yes, they are white because we didn't color yet. But what you will see, they're not red because their texture was made. Alright, so just go to here with the object selected. Make sure your object's selected. That way you get the option to go to material editor to see the textures that were made for it. So you can say, you know what, that one red. Make this one green. Or blue. Make this one yeller. Yeller. Make them, I don't know. That's D. I don't know why I'm clicking on them. They're all the same object. Just a habit, you know. That ain't yellow though. That'd be alright. Yeah, well, no, see, green. Now that's just the basic colors. Yeah, that's just the bare basics. If you want it on the bottom, but I already have my main.material, so it is already set to be double-sided. Also, if you want it to reflect anything, you can on reflection. And it's reflecting the level. I don't like that though. If I did that, I have to turn on. That don't even like for some crazy reason. I don't know. Not sure. Looks crazy though. Almost like the normals are flipped, but they're not. Let's turn this off. So you got emissive, which basically gets rid of shadows because it makes it all 100% self-illuminating. And then you got glow, and you can have a glow and emissive. If you really want ultra vibrant, then you would turn on the emissive. I'm not personally a fan of, I like to see shadows and things, you know, what little shadows there are on it. Let's see here. I think I'll just leave it. See through them, you can turn on lerp alpha and then decrease the alpha. You want to partially see through them, you know what I mean? You can do that. Oh, and when you're done, just go up here to, it's all dirty materials since we didn't save them as we them all. Like we didn't make one and save it, go to the next one, save it. So that's what dirty materials means. You just save anything you modified but hadn't yet saved. So now they're all saved. And now to rebuild a collision mesh, I go to edit and there it is. Rebuild collisions. Now we can put a car on it. Now each one of these should have different surface types. One be mud, one be grass, one be dirt loose, dusty, and I forgot the other one. We'll just pause the game, right click player, say move the camera, and rotate them on around there. And get him here at the starting line. Oh, one's ice, I forgot. I should have made the blue one ice. I didn't think about it. And I just copy these over like this. Oh, he's in the slide. Let's get him out of there. Now, since these are mesh planes, it is possible to go through the slide, but because the way norms work when they're flipped on a plane, it will pull you back through. It won't let you all the way through it. It is neat. You can have softer collisions by using custom ground models so that you are not destroying the car when you land too hard on some things. So I'm not sure what this one is. This is grass. As you can see, grass is coming up. Oh, that fella. Oh, he ain't gonna make it. Let's go to that. What's this one? Mud. Big doggies. Yeah. What's the other one? Oh, that's ice. That did work out. Well, you just got lucky. That's the other dirt dust loose. Dirt dusty loose. And that's it, pretty much. Can't think of really a whole lot more to say. You know, you can easily mass produce these. And if you really want to have some fun with it, you can put water in it. I like that. I would go to the river there and throw in some water in there. So since this is another benefit of having a collision mesh, is and things will stick to the surface that are created, whether it's a mesh road or a mesh river. I don't think this does this when it's using the visible vinyl technique, but I can't say for sure. But something in the back of my head is telling me so, but I'm not positive. So unfortunately, I can't share this slide with the water. It'd be cool if you could do that. Alright, we just hit Control A, select all the nodes, and we'll just tell this to only one thick. Now we got to down. No, not that. All of them. All of them. Let's pick the river. I always, too, if I'm messing with the river and I need to see what, I'll turn up the fog a lot. So, and I'll maybe turn reflection off, 0. That makes it easier for me to see without having these weird reflections and things. It makes it easier to kind of know where what is. So just like any mesh, if it doesn't have a lot of subdivisions or a lot of points, you can't necessarily get it perfect. You can only add so many before it will kink on you. But I think this is okay. It's not bad. I think this will work. I won't spend 500 years tweaking these settings, so we'll just put it back kind of like how I had it. Let's see. So reflectivity, I think it was like 0.5. Fog, I think it was like 0.1. I don't know. Maybe it was 1. No. Well, foam in it. Do you want the ripples to make the water look it's moving down and not just sitting still? Well, the game's paused, so is it? I can't tell if it paused or not. No, it ain't paused. I can see it moving, but they ain't moving very much. So that's why if you want them to, well, the thing gonna move like the ripples anyway. I much use the foam. First, I don't care much for it. This is actually ice though, right? So let's do this. Let's go ripples, and you got 3 ripples. We'll turn this ripple to 0, this one to 0, this one to 0. Now we got ice. We just increase the magnitude for each one. And let's see, the overall ripple magnitude, that's like a multiplier for all. And now you get something that's kind of ice, but foam is not in ice, don't think. So also ice has pretty high reflectivity. I think it would be higher than this. Maybe not that high. Maybe something like that. Let's see. Might increase the resolution of your reflectivity if you got the headroom for it. You can also have it the milliseconds down to 1 would be like the best selection quality where it like updates like immediately. And what else we got? I'll probably move that up higher. Uh, Wet depth, that's how dark it is. Like that makes things look darker. That's what the depth is. Don't mess with those. There's little things you can do. The way it moves the car is the flow magnitude. Zero doesn't. Zero does nothing. Whereas the more you put, the more it's going to spit the car. See, here comes the car. It's going to propel the car, basically. The more magnitude physics, the more it's going to launch. That's kind of cool. And this is where you'll want to like kind of, reset it and say, well, damn, I want the car to be that much in the water. So where you have to start doing this. And this is what I was talking about, is you don't have that many, you're kind of limited. So you can check the subdivision, divide length, make the segment length smaller, and you should get more tessellation in the similar to mesh roads. What makes a mesh road smoother is, of course, that is the brake angle. The lower this number, the more the lower the brake angle, the more transition. This is not a good example. Brake angle 0.25 to brake angle 5. See what I mean? The more the brake angle, the less faces or polygons it's got, so it's a little rougher. I think 0.1 or 0.15 be the 0.25. I think the limit where if you get too low, the car can get flat tires on it. Oh, width subdivision, you don't see them, but those are the ones that relate to if you're rotating it this way. The more width subdivisions you have, the smoother these banks will be. But the default's like 1. So I think it's 1. Yeah, all these add up. They make high polygon meshes if you got a road. Let's keep that in mind. I don't need the mesh road though. Since we're on topic, that's what the similarities are with the river, with the mesh road. As far as the segment, the subdivide link, I'm not honestly sure what divide link. I haven't really fooled with that. Maybe we can see. I don't know. That might have something to do with the waves ripple. And yet the low distance, like if you got waves and you got high detail, the lower this is, basically the low detail, it'll reduce the quality. If you look higher quality farther away, you increase it more, but that's performance. Starts eating into your performance. Alright. Yeah, if you get this thing set up, you're like, man, I could sit here and perfect this stuff. I'm not going to spend all day on it. I think it's Control D. I'm thinking of a damn, yeah, Control D, duplicate objects. You got to have it selected though. Control D. Now we got 2. We can move the other one, the other lane. You can also, I think, hold Shift, pick the arrow, and copy it that way. So now you got a river on all 3. Now, got that same magnitude physics. So if you wanted to change that, you just change that for each one you want to change it on. And that one didn't. I think that one is. No. Gonna make it? Who's gonna win? I would have thought. Yeah, the one the ice. Yeah. Let's see here. This will make it go the other way. The negative is backwards. So if you want to go line up the hill from down here, you could. We don't have a river down here. Or I guess anything for that matter, if you're going the wrong way, you just reverse the number. I should probably out view. Oh, it also depends on how you. It also depends which way you started making it. Did you start at one end and go to the other end, or start at that end and go to that end? That'll determine which way that you would need to go to make that. You know what I'm saying? So, I'll make both of these go the opposite direction.